we're back with another episode about things Fortnite stole from other games. And man, Fortnite is caught in 4K with these chickens from Zelda. They're almost identical. Or what about the time that Fortnite added grenades into their game? I'm pretty sure Call of Duty had those first, ya thieves. Okay, maybe that one doesn't count. But let's get into it with the first thing inspired from other games, obviously, the Recycler. Just a couple of days ago, Fortnite stealth dropped a new weapon into the game without any prior warning. This new gun is called the Recycler, and it works in a very unique way. If you're running low on ammo, you could use the Recycler to blow up your enemies using, well, pretty much anything on the island. And I literally mean anything. You could suck up trees, walls, dumpsters, and more. And then once you've satisfied yourself, the gun recycles the junk into ammo. It's a very cool way to not worry about ammo, although you've got to be constantly sucking up items that you could have used for materials instead. And the reason I'm talking about this gun is because it's actually stolen from another game. Shocking, I know, although this one is a neat little tale of revenge. If you've heard of Creative Destruction, it's a hugely popular mobile ripoff of Fortnite that's been around for at least a couple of years. It pretty much has been ripping off Fortnite for all of eternity, so Epic decided to get some payback this time around. The Destructor is a gun in Creative Destruction, and as you can see, it's literally the Recycler. But of course, Fortnite taking ideas from other games doesn't stop there. Next up, we've got Season 6, pretty much. Okay, a lot of the time Fortnite is inspired by other things. It's usually in the form of a gun or a skin or, like an entire feature like the reboot van. But this time around, it's the entire season, like everything in it. And of course, I'm talking about the current Season 6, which is pretty much just Fortnite's version of Breath of the Wild. If you've played or even looked at gameplay on Breath of the Wild, you probably know exactly what I'm talking about. But if you don't, I'll break it down. For starters, we have the chickens in Fortnite, and these are one of the most blatant takes from Zelda, as chickens have been a running gag in that series for a long time. And in Breath of the Wild, you could actually pick up chickens above your head and use them to glide around. Sound a little familiar? That's because Fortnite lets you do the exact same thing, even to the point of holding it above your head. Then we've got the spire in the middle of the map. This is just like the towers from Breath of the Wild, although this is more of a nod to them than taken directly from the game. We also have wildlife in Season 6, like wolves and boars, both of which can attack you in Breath of the Wild. And it gets even more blatant if you move to the new features in the season. For example, instead of snipers, the primal biome has given the island bows. There are a ton of different types of bows with unique strengths and weaknesses, which is also a huge part of Breath of the Wild's gameplay. Not to mention the mechanical parts around the island you could use to make these bows. They bear a small resemblance to the ancient parts from Zelda. Pretty crazy to look at, except it gets even more obvious when you look at number 8, which are copied skins. This season has brought a few skins into both the Battle Pass and Item Shop, which are scarily similar to other games. Because we were just talking about Breath of the Wild, we have to start with Tirana from the Battle Pass. In Breath of the Wild, you could do a shrine quest to find a set of armor called the Barbarian Armor. Well, look at this armor, and you could already tell that Tirana from the Battle Pass has a pretty similar outfit. This seems to be more than just a coincidence. I mean, the resemblance is striking. And if you're not convinced, then just turn to the latest NPC on the map, Webster. This is a brand new skin that was added for Spring Breakout, and while he looks like an awesome unique skin, just think about it. Where have we seen a decaying robot duck before who looks very menacing? Yup, Chica from Five Nights at Freddy's. Now I gotta admit, it's not a complete copycat, but you can tell where the influence came from it if you put them side by side. But moving on, we've got number 7, which are bounties and currency. If you remember one of the biggest features of Season 5, no, it wasn't sand tunneling, it was actually bounties and gold. I know, by now it feels like they've been in the game forever, but they were only added last season, except they were also taken straight from another game. When Warzone first came out, Activision added currency in the game that allowed you to buy items around the map, and it really helped with reducing RNG. And it looks like Epic Games wanted to copy the homework and change it up a bit because gold was added in Season 5. This lets us buy stuff from NPCs such as challenges, guns, even upgrading our items. And then they took it a step further. Sure, gold isn't a direct ripoff, but bounties kinda are. Bounties were added to Warzone, and it let you take out a specific player for bonus cash and rewards. And so what did Epic add alongside gold? Of course, bounties. You earn gold from chests, but also by completing bounties around the Fortnite Island. And if you take out the player that Fortnite gives you, you get gold even if someone else beats you to it. Pretty awesome, even if it was a little bit inspired by Warzone. And it turns out COD isn't the only popular game that Fortnite's ripped off, because we have number 6, which is Minecraft. With Minecraft coming back into popularity, we thought it'd be interesting to compare both that game and Fortnite because, well, Epic has a long history of copying Minecraft, even from day one of Battle Royale. Okay, for example, literally the concept of harvesting things like trees and rocks for materials to build is Minecraft's core mechanic. Although I will admit it's been in Save the World for a long time, but despite that, we have the crafting system, which could definitely be inspired by Minecraft. That's if you ignore tameable wolves and even create a mode as a whole, but I think the most obvious ripoff of Minecraft is the entire concept of Battle Royale, Now we know Epic only did it because of PUBG, but Battle Royale itself is from a Japanese movie, and Minecraft's Hunger Games is one of the most famous and obvious iterations of it in video games. To be honest, I kind of feel like PUBG was inspired by H1Z1, which was inspired by Minecraft Hunger Games. Well anyways, for a more obvious ripoff, we've got number 5, which is the Spy Within LTM. Recently, Epic has been featuring a ton of community-made creative islands as official Fortnite LTMs. And while it's amazing for sharing content, one of the most popular and longest running of these LTMs was that of Spy Within. This was a fully fledged LTM that Epic even added challenges and rewards for. So despite this being made by creative builders, this was fully embraced by Epic, so I guess I'm counting it. Basically, the whole mode is an obvious carbon copy of Among Us made to try and bounce off of its popularity. And it worked! The mode has 10 players, 2 assassins, 8 agents, and it literally worked just like Among Us. The agents had tasks they had to complete to win, and there were voting rounds, as well as the assassins who could sabotage and kill the other agents. I mean, it couldn't get any more obvious than this. Well, actually it can, because there's still some insanely obvious things Fortnite has stolen from other games. Make sure you watch until the end, it gets bad. But now we've got to talk about concerts. Fortnite's concerts have some of the most revolutionary features in gaming in the last few years. Epic has really brought virtual shows to the gaming industry, and now a ton of games have been trying to copy this idea. Although while Epic is clearly the absolute best at doing these concerts, they weren't technically the first. In the years before Battle Royale, virtual concerts were not popular or even remotely known about, but it did happen. Back in 2016, Aluna George hosted a Minecraft concert, and so did Monster Cat with Monster Charity all the way back in 2013. And if you want to take it even further back to 2006, an artist had a virtual concert in Second Life. Despite all this though, I think we could all agree that Fortnite does it best. But who knows, maybe I gotta make a video calling out Roblox because of the Lil Nas X concert. Probably not though. But anyways, let's move on to number 3, which is Apex Legends. So we mentioned in our last video that Fortnite has taken things from Apex before, like the reboot vans. But it's been way more than that too. While the reboot vans were a huge and obvious ripoff of the respawn beacons from Apex, Epic has still been copying the game. If you remember, we got Vaults in Chapter 2 Season 2, and this was technically taken from Apex Legends 2. Now at least Fortnite kept it pretty fresh with the NPC bosses instead of just loot drones. Even if loot drones were technically back in Fortnite in Season 6, so yet another thing stolen. And we haven't even mentioned the pinging system. Once Apex was known for its amazing pinging system, Epic poured it right over into Fortnite. Although to be honest, you can't even be annoyed about this because it has made the game a lot better. And so has number 2, which are radio stations. One of the best things Epic has ever added to vehicles in Fortnite has been the radio stations. If you hop into a car right now, you can switch between radio stations that actually play copyrighted music, and there's an insane amount of artists and popular songs on there. Although we all know that this idea came straight from Grand Theft Auto. GTA has been known for its radio stations for decades, and it's one of the only other games that have something like this. And with more stations and songs getting added all the time for both games, it's an obvious comparison. And just before we get to our number 1 spot, of course we have our honorable mention, which is old stuff copied from other games. Okay, there are way more stolen items that pretty much made Fortnite what it is today, but we don't have time to fit them all in a list, so we're just gonna touch upon them in this honorable mention. For starters, we have supply drops. They've been in Fortnite for a long time now, ever since Battle Royale first came out. But it's obvious that Epic took these along with the whole idea for a Battle Royale mode from PUBG. PUBG's supply drops are pretty desired and have a whole plane flying over the map for it. When Fortnite added theirs, it's not as flashy, but they're still super cool to find. Then we have the storm itself. Of course, the different types of storms we've gotten over the years in Fortnite have been a mix of elements from both H1Z1 and PUBG. And lastly, one of Fortnite's most game-changing features is the Battle Pass. Thanks to Fortnite, almost every game on planet Earth has ditched loot boxes and instead adopted a Battle Pass. Turns out it actually wasn't Epic's idea though. The Battle Pass was invented when it was added to Dota 2 back in 2013. But now finally, what you've all been waiting for, our number 1 spot, weapon attachments. There are an absolute ton of games in the market right now that let you customize your weapons and upgrade them. But if we want to go into specifics, let's look at Fortnite's wraps. Epic added wraps late into Chapter 1, but they were by no means their own idea. Wraps have been popular in a ton of games, most notably Call of Duty and H1Z1, and now we know that Epic are planning to add weapon customization in the future. Basically, soon we'll be able to actually add attachments and more to our weapons, and well, that's pretty reminiscent of Warzone and really any other game ever. I know we're getting a little nitpicky, I needed an extra spot, okay? But that's it for our stolen items video, and once again, we're not saying that Epic are wrong for stealing or trying to be haters, because not a single popular game out there hasn't ripped off someone else's feature, but hey, it's kinda cool to know where Epic gets their inspiration from. Thanks so much for watching, this has been Tommy, keep it here on Top 5 Gaming.